back to the Stockwell Eldridge Show. If you missed the first segment, it was great. We had a market update, and we have a great intro to the last segment there. So I didn't have my reading glasses, and I was reading the statistics, and I said coca, which I'm learning now is the plant for cocaine. And that was down, but it's actually cocoa, which is for chocolate. Yes. Still mixing it up.
Or the cocaine for coffee.
Either way, they're highly addictive products, plants, chocolate, and cocaine. But cocaine, I think, is actually up right now. If I were to give a general overview on, no, I'm just kidding.
Well, and I was going to say though too, in reference to, maybe change the subject back to business here. Hello, is everyone glass?
Well, that is some people's business, but it's not mine.
Yeah, you're right. So. Right, Breaking Bad. No, that was meth. Anyways, I digress. No, I think the job. I've talked to different economists and so forth.
We're just digging a deeper hole.
No, I think, I've heard a couple economists over the winter months, and, a lot of them talked about the job market, and definitely how, even Minneapolis, the job market is up. So you talk about consumer confidence. Oh, yeah. Also, the unemployment is down and jobs
Drive
are up
around.
And so forth.
Look at people doing stuff. Go on Facebook and see where they're going on vacations, buying stuff.
Well, I'm always
cars.
hiring at Wells Fargo. I'm looking to hire people too. So
yeah, I mean, people are hiring. They're going to buy new cars, buy new house. I mean, it's everybody's very, very confident, and especially in the Twin Cities here, I think too.
Right.
More so because of the job market. I mean, if you want a job, you can get a job. I think right now you should be able to get a job.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And then a couple of things I want to touch base on. This is from Don Hutchinson, who I really like. He's in the Edina Chamber, and he's the 10-year note. We're tracking that. It ended at 2.44%. That's not that much higher than it finished at the end of last year in 2015. It was only 0.17 percentage points higher than it finished in 2015, 1 year later. But that will be going up, most likely, is what they're predicting on that part. And then housing. Dawn, what does it say on the housing?
You guys,
I got my reading glasses. I don't want to mess anything up.
I have some cheaters that I can pull out if you need them.
I have an extra pair.
We're talking about middle age previous to the show, and I said, I think I'm there. I'm getting there.
I think you're a little young.
I
for
went to the eye doctor.
I
asked the eye doctor. I'm like, okay, I'm convinced. I need LASIK. I want prescription lenses. He's like, no. You're just getting old. I'm like, for real? For real? That was your answer, Mr. Hot Eye Doctor. You're not so hot anymore.
Well, maybe he was only hot because of your vision.
Well, he was checking my eyes, but he's like, well, these are cheaters. I'm like, oh, my God, the eye doctor wears cheaters. I'm like, okay. And he said, yeah, he checked all the tests, my vision's peripheral, long, short, whatever. And he said, yeah, it's just part of getting old.
No.
Is
don't say it.
Cheaters. So
I want life to get better with age.
It does, though. It really does.
Except for the hearing, sight. And
yeah, my knees ache, my back aches.
Yeah, I mean.
Otherwise, it's awesome.
Yeah. Weight gain.
Fatigue.
Kids get older.
Memory loss. I mean, it's fabulous. You forget everything.
The dating pool shrinks and shrinks.
No, there was a.
So you're a cougar.
What's that?
Unless you're a cougar. There you go.
Well, I am a cougar.
You are a cougar.
Yeah, so that's good. Yeah, the millennials are starting to look better and better.
There you go. I may know someone for you. No, just kidding.
Here we go. Dating service.
All right. Oh, we've already talked about.
We always talk about.
Okay, we're back to this.
Yeah. Get back to the housing.
Don and the housing thing.
All right. So the average interest rate nationwide on a 30-year fixed mortgage ended in 2016 at 4.32%. But the record low was 3.31% as of 11/22/2012, just 4 years ago.
So 4 years ago. So it's only a point higher than the record low. So it's still really, really good, folks. And then oil prices ended up 45%. We already talked about that. We predict that oil prices are going to go up this year as well.
Oh, yeah, it's up and all over the news. The gas prices are going up.
Gas prices are going to go up and all that. So be ready for that. But
I drive by that Wally's. There's a Wally's in Edina and Wooddale. They have the old, it's a gas station that's shut down. They have an old sign up with the gas price, and it's at $3.39 when they were closed.
Do you know that's going to be
interesting?
What's going to be going in there? A restaurant.
Isn't it a brew house?
Yep.
Town.
There's 4 of them, I think, in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, Town Hall.
Yeah. They're going to keep a gas station theme kind of on the outside. It's pretty cool. I saw it on the.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway.
Exciting. All right.
So.
Our poor guest over here, Rob. Rob's like, I thought this was like a real estate show.
This is good. Education.
Yeah, we talk all kinds of stuff on the show. But Rob, welcome to the show. Rob Routh, Insuring Success. We know a little bit about you that you either sponsor or just like to look tough wearing a wrestler's shirt. But give us a background about yourself and what's going on.
So I'm still a head wrestling coach yet for a small world school, so I'm still doing that. I was a longtime teacher for 16 years. My better half and I were high school sweethearts here in a small town, and we got married, and next year we moved out to Colorado to get away from family, and 14 years later we moved back because of family. So we've been back for a couple years, and was still teaching and was just looking for a career change a little bit, and my family had been kind of ravaged by cancer a little bit, and so we this just kind of came up, and so yeah, that's what I'm doing, selling health insurance for primarily a cancer plan that we have.
Wow.
So to go into that then, Insuring Success. And this is the first time I'm hearing about this too, folks. So Dawn and I and Stephanie we didn't know exactly what Rob was doing, but he said it might be beneficial for listeners, for business professionals, and maybe you'd share for whoever else. But
yeah, so basically, Family Heritage is our provider, and Insuring Success has had quite a bit of success. One of the things that my national director had gotten involved in is finding niche markets for our product, and he found schools were a great niche area, but we can still sell to businesses and those kind of things. So that's kind of where I got hired as an educator, is to open up Minnesota to Minnesota schools primarily to this product. And so what we have is called Cancer Plus. And so basically what it does, we're a supplemental health insurance. And so the great thing for business owners is it's a non-payroll deduction. It's a direct relationship between the company and the policy owner. And so that's great. It doesn't cost the company anything. And so typically what we do, we get approval from the superintendent, for example, or a business owner, and I come in and do a 10-minute presentation either before already staffed meeting or after. We bring donuts or whatever, coffee, whatever people want, and then we just do our 10-minute thing. We give them a yes or no card. They want to hear more or not, and then it takes about 20 minutes to kind of go through that. But basically, some of the key points of our cancer plan, and we still sell a heart and a accident plan as well, but with the cancer ICU, we kind of combine together. It's about 30 plus different benefits to it, which is really a great thing. But basically, just using a general example, if somebody was part of our highest level, and the plans range basically from the quarter of a cell phone bill a month and up, depending on what your situation is. But basically what happens, for example, if I had gotten cancer and I was on the highest plan, on a first occurrence basis, within days, my company would put in direct deposit $6,000 directly into my account to use within days of me being diagnosed with cancer. From there, then, it goes basically $800 per day every time I go to the hospital. So every time I'm in the hospital for any reason, $800 per day. So you multiply it out by 10 days. And if you think in a month and someone's going through cancer, 10 days is maybe on the average for people actually having to go to the hospital. That's $8,000 gets deposited into my account for me to use to keep my family going. Radiation treatments, $480 per treatment.
So is this something, Rob, when you talk about even for our listeners, so you say you're working with business. So is this something that a policy that I could, so I'm an individual person, I've got my benefits through Wells Fargo, but Wells Fargo probably may not be the target client, too large of a corporation, but could I buy the policy then just myself, or is it only offered through an employer?
No, it doesn't matter. So we Family Heritage has a bunch of success working with homes and businesses and so forth. So this is for anybody who wants a policy just to protect himself. For if you get sick 6 months to a year, what would you have to do? You don't want to accumulate all this the stuff, wealth, and other things, and then over the course of having to battle cancer for 6 months to a year, you have to go into your investments and other pieces. This prevents that from you having to do that, because this will provide at least a way for you to keep things going and flowing while you fight the disease. I mean, the last thing you want is to go through a GoFundMe account and hope and pray that goes well, or a pancake feed. This eliminates that possibility. And the other great feature, there's two great features about it, but we have a 100% premium return after 20 years. So if you pay your premiums for 20 years, after that 20-year date, 100% of your premiums, if you don't use it, will be returned. If you use some of it, the difference will be returned. And if you happen to use it, you basically couldn't put in more than what you would get back in claims or those kind of things. And so that's the beauty of it.
So this is Insuring Success, and the website is insuringsuccess.com. Right, Rob?
Yep. Insuring is can you spell it out?
Yeah, INSURING success.com. And I'll get Rob Routh's information for you. I have a quick question though. Where does health insurance come into this then? If let's say I'm covered on a company policy with healthcare, why would I want this?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So there are two areas. There's a direct cost, which goes to hospitals and doctors, and that's what your health insurance cover that's provided by companies, whatever, is those direct costs. We do the indirect. So the beauty part of ours is we don't have any relationship with your health insurance. So whether your health insurance will cover, you pay your deductible, you pay your co-payment, you go through that, that's fine. What you can use the money you get from us is to pay those co-payments, those deductibles, your car payment, your cell phone bills. That money is not pigeonholed for anything. That money can go to whatever you need.
So you could use it for groceries or household expenses,
because you're probably
whatever.
not
It's
working at this time. You're not producing money.
Or the days, if you're going for treatment, you could be working, but the days you're going for chemotherapy, you're probably out for a day or two.
Yeah.
Well, normally you can't drive. So you think of a family, you have a spouse typically has to take you. So now are you not only you're not working, now your spouse is losing work time too. So this benefit has been substantial for families.
Or have to pay an Uber.
It's tax-free. The money's already been taxed. There's no lifetime limits. So if I had contracted cancer again 3 years later, again, I'm back on the plan. Again, I'm protected.
Really?
So
yeah, it's and we all know we all know someone touched by cancer, and unfortunately, and I have a family member who was going through it, and they were relatively young age, I would say, and it was tough. I mean, and now they're cancer-free, which is great. However, the burden during that time, even though they had insurance, it was tough because you said that exactly about the spouse then and all that. So we'll get back more with Rob. This is insuringsuccess.com. Website is insuringsuccess.com with Rob Routh. We'll be back with more on the Stockwell Eldritch Show. Stay tuned. Thanks for listening.
It was a very